Hey, what's up? Liron here. Thank you for joining me in this video. Today we're going to talk about how not everyone really wanted me to become an artist. I'm going to try and tackle this topic because it's relevant to so many of you, and I'll also try to tackle it in a positive light. So when I got started, and I talked about this in a recent podcast episode, but it seemed so relevant that I wanted to make a video as well. I got started immediately after my military service with this whole art thing. What I knew is I'm young. This is the age to take a lot of the risks that I want to take in order to build the life I want. And so as soon as I finished the service, I started working on building a business around my art. I knew that I am good at and love teaching, and also that I love drawing. So I thought, why not mix the two together? And that's how I got to writing books. I independently published them, and that's how I slowly built myself up. I got the timing right, and my fourth book really went wild for me, I think, and got a lot of success. And to this day, it is the most selling book I have published so far. It had a lot of interesting things that came from it, like being published in Spanish and now probably soon in Russian as well. So here's the point. When I got started, first, obviously I wasn't making money. I wasn't even having success. And a lot of the environment around me, my friends and my family, didn't really want me to become an artist. Now let me try and frame it up the right way, because I don't want to come off as being negative or anything like that. Most of this whole resistance I was feeling was coming from a good place. Either people want your best, they have your best interest in mind, or so they think. So they don't want you to go for something as risky as building your own business, or definitely not going into art. That's one thing. Now the second thing I noticed is people have a hard time sometimes when you're doing something, you're moving in the right direction, the environment around you, even if they're close to you, they're good friends and family, they still may have a hard time with you making a change or going in a direction they do not see for themselves. Now, the problem that people have is that they don't know what makes you happy. They don't know what makes you wake up smiling in the morning. They think about themselves and how they want to live their life, and they project that onto other people. That's very common. It happens all the time. And so they won't necessarily accept your decision. So I had a lot of resistance in the form of telling me many times that I have to make sure that I can make a living out of it. And like, even when I started making a living out of it, I would hear that a lot. I really hated that sentence, to be honest, because I was doing all the right things, and I was approaching this in a very methodical way. I have devoted a lot of time to learning about how to market myself and how to share my work out there and how to monetize what I'm doing. And so I did a lot of research, and I knew that my intentions are good and I want the best for my customers. And my customers can be someone I'm teaching, like private lessons, or it can be someone who buys a painting, or it can be someone who buys a course. And I knew that I'm coming at it from the right angle, but still, people around you will not see this. And to this day, a lot of the people that are closest to me don't really know what my day is structured like and what I focus on the most. They have no idea that I spend less than 10% or 5% of my time painting, and actually all the rest is devoted to the business. People see the end product, they think you paint all day long. I wish. It's more about a balanced approach, especially if it's a business around it. I'm not just dabbling in art. I'm not just kind of painting on the side and whenever I get time, I do this full time. And in order to allow myself to do this for full time, I went a very practical route. I'm going to teach. I'm going to be a communicator. And I don't mind that, my paintings could have been a little better had I just spent the whole time painting. I don't care, because what I want to do is inspire as many people as I can. But we're going on a bit of a side tangent here. Here's the thing. When you're following your dream, whatever it is, it can be something creative that's not painting, it can be something completely different that may be a little different from the mainstream. You will encounter resistance, and people around you will give you sometimes a hard time, even if it's coming from the right place. Now, the thing that depresses me the most, if you can call it that way, is I know that if my conviction wasn't strong enough and I would have quit, I would miss out on all of the things I'm doing today, and missing out on all of the things that make me excited, and that is to produce the content for you, to paint freely, to feel the creative juices flowing, to work on even things that I hate in my business are still so much better than the things I used to do when I worked for a company. So even the most mundane, menial tasks are better than some of the best tasks I received as an employee in a company, because I had this short time period of about a year and a half that I did work for a company, so I know I can tell the difference for myself. And so the point is this: I know what makes me feel good. I know what makes me feel happy. I had the conviction to do it, and I had the power and strength to stay my path. Not everyone's like that, and what makes me the most scared rather than depressed, as I said earlier, is people who do have the gift, who do have the abilities, who do have the talent, that end up quitting because their parents think that way, or their friends think that way, or whoever is closest to them thinks that way. If you know that you're, and I'm gonna frame it all up in a different way, it's hard. Building a business is hard. I think most people are definitely not built for it. But if you do believe in yourself and you do believe that you're built for it, and you have enough self-awareness to know that you're actually good enough, or that you have the potential to be good enough, which, by the way, doesn't mean you have to be the best. You can just be good enough, and many people have the potential of becoming good enough. If you know all of these things, it would break my heart to know that you quit because of someone else. So this is the message of today's video. This is everything I want to share in this one. Is look at me as an example. I did not stray from my path. I did not quit. And because of that, I was able to reap the benefits of all of this hard work. If you quit, you're done. That's if someone else's voice gets into your head, and even though you know you're good enough, you go in the direction they kind of dictate for you in order to please them, or to keep a good relations, which I understand all of these reasons. It's still hard. You may end up resenting someone in the long term because they swayed your opinion. Some people from my past, I'm not in touch with, because kind of naturally over time, you lose the connection because people cannot see you for who you are and accept the way you are and the things you want to achieve and support them. My friends right now are the best. Like, they're the most supportive. The people around me, everyone's really, really supportive. That's the kind of connections that stand the test of time, in my opinion. I want to jump into a short story. When I was still in the military, I was serving in Tel Aviv. So one evening, I was waiting for the bus, and it's funny how this sentence stuck with me. There was a guy in the bus station was waiting to be picked up, and we talked, and I was very talkative even back then. I talked to people everywhere. And we just got into a conversation. He told me he was running 2 restaurants in Tel Aviv, 2 very successful ones, if I recall. And he told me a story, and then just a minute later, someone came and picked him up. So I feel grateful for having heard that story. He just said, I told him about my aspirations, what I want to do, the art, all of that. And he said, you need to be it's not really a story. He just said, you need to be like a racehorse. You need to have the blinds here on the right and on the left, and just see the path you want to take. And what's that? And so that's what he told me. And I never consciously thought of that thing ever again. But then once every year or so, I'd be like, that happened. And I don't know if it really changed something, but I do remember it every once in a while, and it may have stuck. So I want you to have the same mentality. Now, you have to have enough self-awareness. If you really doubt yourself, maybe you're not cut out for this, and which is fine, which is great. A lot of people make art on their free time, and it's perfect. Some people actually don't want to turn it into a business because they want to keep the purity of it and just do it in order to enjoy, and I really respect that, because you lose a lot of things once you turn it into a job. So this is something to have into consideration. I never had that fear. I never, ever had that fear, which was a good indication that I should do it. Okay, I never doubted it. I never asked myself, because I did get a recent question about it, and I still haven't answered it, but I promise if it's you, I will answer it. I never had that thing where I fear turning art into the main thing I do, because it will ruin it, or ruin the purity, or make me treat it as a chore. I never had that. All I saw all the way was I love it, and this is what I want to do more and more and more, and spend more time doing. A lot of the things I'm doing right now are meant to carve out more freedom, to allow me more time to paint. So that's kind of how I approach this. And I think with that, we can wrap up the video. If I had to conclude this, I know I've been a little all over the place, but I'm trying to share more of these authentic videos. And to tell you the truth, I am spending more time painting because I do want to improve and improve as a teacher as well. So what ends up happening is you're going to see a lot more of these videos. It's just talking because it's faster for me than filming the process. And I do want to devote the time I'm painting just for myself sometimes and not share it, because that's how I grow and improve sometimes. So you will see more videos of this, like this one, but the gist is this. If you truly believe in yourself and you do see the potential, especially if you're young, but even if you're old, it's never too late, I would go for it and go for it hard, because when you're youngest, that's the time to take these risks. That's the time to, and of course, do it in a calculated manner. I haven't sacrificed all of my chances at a happy life just to chase this. I'm very much monitoring the progression of my business. I've been doing it for the last at least 3 years, really looking at it and figuring out what the potential is and if I can rely on it, and I can. So that makes me very grateful. If you have all of that, please go for it, at least for a short period of time. Give it a try, because otherwise you may end up resenting the person who swayed you or made you stray from your path, and you just miss out on a lot of potential. You miss out on giving your true gift, and I think like happiness should be the goal when it comes to this. And I'm so grateful of taking this path, and I'm just scared for other people not to, because maybe mentally they don't have the same conviction. That's the thing. That's the message. And I know a lot of people are in later stages of their lives. They're a little older, maybe even retired. That's a perfect time to go for it as well. I honestly believe it's never too late, really. So just go for it. Let me know in a comment down below if you've been feeling this kind of resistance, if you've been experiencing it. Be sure to check out my podcast if you haven't. I don't talk about it a lot here, but be sure to check it out. It's more about topics like this. I have 2 podcasts actually, one weekly, one daily. Be sure to check those out. I may link them down below if I remember. I always forget. But if you want to hear me talk about more of these topics of creativity and building a business around your art and even just pure painting, be sure to check these out. Let me know again in a comment down below if you've encountered this kind of resistance. Have you dealt with it successfully? Do you feel like you changed your path in order to please someone else, or in order to not feel like you stand out too much? Let me know. I really want to know in the comment down below. And with that being said, we're going to wrap it up. Thank you so much for watching. We will see you again in the next vid.